Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another rainy day here in Minecraft. I saw this sad-looking soul. I wanted to see what he was. Nightmare, 50 out of 50. He's a graveyard mob. Looks like a lot like the Ravager. He also looks kind of like an Enderman, which means I think if I make a spot where I am only 2 blocks tall, I'll probably fight him without any trouble. Interesting. Corruption. I have worked many days in this map with relative sunshine, and now I have decided to record this new building that I have finished to show you guys, and I can't get it to stop raining, so I guess it's time to reveal it in the rain. This is our new Blacksmith's Forge. I was going to record building some of it on camera, but I kept messing around and tinkering around with it and before I realized that it was finished. Let me see if I can get an angle where you can see the outside exterior a little bit better. This area I'm still digging out. I need to finish terraforming, but there we go. Probably I'm going to put a window on that end as well. But let's go in and take a look at some of the things for it. So this episode we're going to be building all the items from Hephaestus, which is our fabric port of Tinker's Construct. So we need a place to build crafting stations and tool stations and tinker stations, and then we need a place to build our smeltery and the other items that go along with that. And I thought, you know, let's have a building for it. So this is going to be the area where I put in the smeltery, and then I'll probably run a chimney up to finish off the building, even though you don't need one. It'll look cool. And then down here I have a place to put in all my tinker stations and stuff like that. I have run a terminal into our base right here so that we can craft the things that we need while we're here and store items that we don't need while we're in here. Upstairs is just some space where I might put a bedroom. I have a loft that looks over the thing. I have a pretty large room here. This is where I was thinking I'll probably put another window just to let in some natural light. Natural light is always good in builds. This took me surprisingly long, about 12 hours total to build. I am not the greatest builder, but it took me a while, but I think it came out pretty good. I think this end, I don't think I can put in a window because the overhang is there. That's right. That's right. Probably put a couple in on this end as well. And this one also has the eave overhang. That's okay. This is supposed to be more of like a functional building, like a blacksmither's workshop. So we have space up here to put I'm probably going to make like personal quarters up here, and then this will just be some decorative stuff overlooking into the smeltery, and then this will be the area where I build all the tinker stuff and the smeltery itself out here. I also just know that I want to have basement access because I want to be able to run cabling from our ME system across and other things. Like we're going to have fluid cables that connect the smeltery up to automate things and stuff like that. And so I wanted a basement, so I just made like a dirt basement. down here, a little dirt cellar. Probably will change this up, make it a little different in the future, but this is a hallway I built that goes all the way over to our basement from our main storage base, and so it connects our ME system all together. I was having power problems where this would shut off, and I realized it was whenever this and this were not both on. So the one magnator by itself or one furnator by itself was not enough power to keep the base on. It would run out of fuel here, and so then I would have the whole system shut down. I have to go get some kind of fuel to power this on so I could get in. So I made a second magnator because I cannot make the next level of magnator yet, because the fourth level of magnator requires blaze powder because it's blazing. So we either need to take 4 blaze powder or 1 blaze rod to make these crystals, and then we'll be able to make this thing. And the blazing capacitors use the same thing. It's just an upgrade from the large capacitors. I have gone into the Nether a little bit to grab some decorative stuff, but I haven't been able to go in there and actually fight yet. I am running very low on lava here, so for now, I want to see, can I hop her in from the side? Yeah, I could do that. And then let's put a block here, just so I have something to place against. And we can just drop this off up there to fill this tank back up. And then we can take this with us when we go mining again to fill it back up. Or into the Nether, which is probably what we'll end up doing. For now. Eventually we'll automate this in a different way. But that helps us keep things running. Okay. I also did some upgrades to our ME system itself, where I just added in more drives. I ended up going with more 4K drives rather than less 16K drives, because I noticed that these were filling up the bytes a lot slower than the types. So for now I have a lot of 4Ks, which means we have a lot of different types we can store, but not so many items, which means we do need to focus on making some storage to store bulk items. I also ran this cabling, so I think you saw it down here. I still need to move everything around in that room, but there is a terminal down here in the basement. Then there is cabling that goes this way, which runs all the way over to our industrial base on this side. And so then I just have the cable that sneaks around, and there's a terminal hidden with a conduit cover. You see there's a facade that is stone bricks that hides here. So now from here we can access the system from over there, and then that way we can also connect to automate some of these things down here. So those are the things we've done in between just to get set up for today. Like I said, the main focus is going to be on tools, weapons, and armor during this episode. I'm going to get the Tinker Station set up, which will get us a book, and we'll find out what we need to get the smeltery, and we'll get a smeltery set up, and we'll start off with making Tinker's tools. I finally got a nice, pretty, sunny day here in our little village. I'm doing some more changes to this building. Always more. I changed up. I thought I did like the window up on the second level. The light helps break up this large portion of oak that I was having trouble with. So I did a secondary eave that pops out over a window. I did it using different types of wood. My thought process was, it would break up the oak, but also it almost looks like this was a building that was very plain, and then someone came along and added in the windows and the eaves later using different types of wood, or maybe wood that aged differently. I'm also thinking about taking some of the spruce and polka dotting the oak with it, just to give it a better feel. I like that, and so I'm trying to adapt it over here. I thought I would do it on camera with you guys. One thing I did think that I wanted to show you is, you guys have seen the crafting table on a stick. I crafted all of the other on a stick mod variants. So we have a loom, a smithing table, a stone cutter, a grindstone, a cartography table, and an anvil on a stick. The stone cutter is particularly nice because on the go, if I want stone cutter variants, I can just throw the bricks in there and be like, oh, let me grab some of those. So I don't have to carry large amounts of blocks, and I don't have to put a stone cutter down and forget it somewhere, which is what I always do playing in vanilla. So I just made all those variants, and I keep them in my backpack with my tools. But, so, I expanded this wall up, added in the window, added a support beam across the top. I just figured out that transition in between. Let me see if I can get a better angle on it. So when the edge of the eave came down, there was just a 1 block gap. So instead of having a stair at the end of it, which is I think what I have on this side, yeah, I have built a stone pillar that has a support bracket underneath it, which matches the ones below. I might swap that for stone. I don't know how that looks with having oak supporting stone. But for now, that's how I'm going to leave it. And then I just put some of the trim. I think the thing I don't like about this trim is that it's just too much. It's like a whole block, and I may come along and change this up, make it for something smaller for trim around the edge. But I kind of wanted it to look like it was a stone trim that was almost like a gutter along the edge of the building. And then I had these connections of it going up through the corner as like where the support beams are to make it look more structural. And then this little square of oak we'll be removing when we put the chimney in. So it doesn't really look right that there's another little patch of oak in here, but I didn't feel the need to fill it in with stone because I'm going to be removing that when we put a chimney in there anyway. So let's finish this up. So what we need to do is go across here all the way to there with our slabs, and that makes the flat top of the roof. And then we'll swap to stones. Another thing that I figured out that makes construction very easy is that when you middle click in survival on a block that you have in your inventory somewhere, if it's not on your hotbar, it puts it on your hotbar. So like I can swap between oak stairs, spruce slabs, that kind of thing. When we put all these blocks inside our dank and we have it set to construction, we can do the same thing. So if I want to build with marble, I just middle click and then it grabs the marble that is inside this dank and makes it the forefront one. And then if I want to use spruce logs, I can swap. And if I wanted to use glass, I can swap. And so it makes the construction very easy. So I definitely will be utilizing that more. And so then I may have, and I have a few extras that I got from quest rewards and stuff. I may have a dank that's specific to each building and put all the blocks from the pallet in it, and then use those blocks to do our construction, and have like a dank that we just throw away in a storage somewhere and pull out when we want to do some changes with that building style. It might make things easier. Might be easier to see once I am actually doing it rather than explaining it though. Okay, so I know that this goes like this. And then there's one more that goes down like that. And then like that. And like that. So then we have one more row of slabs across the top. And then I need stone stairs to put the trim on. That good up here. Looks like the top part is finished except for the edge. We'll get to that. And then we just need to pull this out. And then how do we do the transition? I want you to see the piece of spruce. Stairs come out. This will be gone. See, this is going to be awkward to get exactly right, but let's pull out these stone. If we want to make it match that, there would be a support beam right on the end, which goes right after this. So let's go. Let's see, I need cobblestone in here. And then we would have cobblestone slabs. Where did I put my slabs? There they are. Oh, one too many. Guess that could work. I could take this off for now. I don't know how that. How is this in the back here? Okay. So I could put another piece of stone in there. Oh, it's the wrong stone. Sometimes these danks do get a little screwy. They get stuck on rotating. I don't know if that's user error or that's the banks themselves, but put in blocks. I need to get, yeah, see, it does it again. Why are you like that? Put a block down like this so I can get down here. I'm thinking that maybe if I put a support like this, I gotta think, how do I need to be to angle this to be able to place it correctly? I want it to be. I want it to be like that. Oh, not right. I need to place it like right in that corner, but I need to place it in that corner facing the other corner. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to get it to do what I want it to do. May have to use some other block trickery to do it. But I was trying to get it so it looked like that, but to stay when I took this off. That's not going to work. So let's try, just do a half slab as a support. Let's try that. The transition might be a little weird, might have to tweak it some, but let's take a look at it. Still got some wood up there for me to stand on. I kind of like that so far. I think it needs some more decoration. How does it look from coming out of here? Yeah, I kind of like it. Like I said, this end, it just sticks out too far, the eave. I may need to make some adjustments there because it doesn't look balanced. And frankly, with that change now, this end is not as low as this end. So we'll work on that later. But for now, it's starting to look okay. I also think maybe this having this window more narrow doesn't make sense because we don't have it narrower on the bottom floor and it doesn't match. So let's go back up and fix that real quick. You can see why this building took me hours upon hours upon hours to build. But that's the cost of making it look the way you want. I have to get better at letting it sit for a minute. Like, I'm not happy with a couple of elements with this, but it's looking pretty good. So I should let it go and see what I think is wrong and fix it. I know for sure I'm fixing that corner, but for now we'll let it go. Let's check it out in the daytime as soon as I can get over to a bed. Ooh, just hit a pretty massive lag spike there. It could be my computer though. I am doing some other things at the moment. Okay, let's take a look at it in the sun and then we'll get started back on Tinkers, or Hephaestus as it is called in this pack. Yeah, I like this corner. It looks pretty good. That corner is all janky, but it looks really nice in the sunlight. It looks much better being more balanced. It's a little kind of odd that the area below is different, so I'll probably change that out too. But I'm going to leave it that for now, because otherwise I'm going to be spending the next 2 days doing nothing but tinkering with this building. And instead I'd like to be tinkering inside this building. After looking at how much I'd recorded, I realized that we're getting pretty close to the end of this episode, and I don't want to squeeze the tinkers and other stuff, making armor and stuff, into one episode when I don't have a lot of time. So I'm just going to do a couple of little final touches on the exterior of this building, and then we will spend an entire episode on the tools and weapons and armor in the next episode. So I made a few changes inside here because the changes on the outside made the inside look a little odd. So one thing I did is I added a support beam up across the top there. I ended up, I don't know if you can see it, but it stripped spruce logs to kind of tie it together. I did a similar thing down here. Once I had widened this pillar to, this is not right. Once I had widened this pillar to 3, because I decided to make this window smaller to match the one above. It didn't quite look right in here, so I tripled the size of this beam separating the room, and I added a spruce log down the middle. It also makes a nice little kind of divider for the room, so that this is the area for storage and for the terminal, and then this will be the tinker's area here, and then this will be the smelter area. So I like that. I took that spruce log and extended it kind of out through here by putting a stripped spruce log out here to make it look like there's a beam that goes through to support everything. And you can see it from underneath too. I like it. It makes it look like a real building. I may have to change up this support log. So let's do that quick. We'll just put in another support beam like this. Oop, that's not the right block. And then we can put, there's too many torches down here, but for now, I just want the extra lighting. I probably will swap them out for something like lanterns or something later. But for now, I just want it nice and bright down here. I don't want mobs spawning underneath. So yeah, now the bottom part matches the top. The same on this side. I think that does look pretty good with the oak supporting the beam and having a beam there. This corner is still very janky, and it's because this entire edge is janky. The eave is just too big for what it is. So I may have to change that up. I do like that this room has more light in it up here. But now I have the problem of I have windows on the front and this side and that side, and this side is just a big bare flat wall. I don't know if I want to change it up or not, because I kind of want some spaces that have flat walls so that I can put furnitures and stuff up against it for when I'm decorating. Because if you have windows everywhere, then you feel like you can't put anything in front of them. But that I'm not sure about. If I poked a window through here and made new eaves on that side as well, it's also not a great view. It's just a view right into the mountain. So I think for now I'm going to leave it as it is. And then we'll just work on that eave and we'll call it good for now. I'm going to try to just let it sit. I'm going to put some more furniture, decorations outside, like flowers and stuff on the outside here. And just kind of let it set with me overnight and look at it a couple more times as I walk past doing work on the next episode. And then we'll touch it up after that. Because sometimes there's just a thing about just overworking something. Sometimes you just need to let it see it, how it sits in your world and see how you like it. Because, you know, you might hit that sweet spot and then you make more changes and now it's not, you don't like it as much. So I'm going to let it go for now and then we'll touch up a few more things later. Next episode, we are going to work on Hephaestus. We're going to get a tinker station set up and we'll get a smeltery set up and get all the materials together that we need for making some better tools, some better weapons, and some better armor. One of the main reasons that's motivating me to do that is that I want to go into the Nether, and the Nether in this pack, like many mod packs, is not quite a joke. It's pretty treacherous. So when we go in there, I want to be better equipped. I went in there just to get a few pieces of quartz and a few pieces of glowstone for building some of the components in our ME system, and I think I died 5 or 6 times just getting like the basics that I needed. So yeah, we definitely need to have better armor and better weapons than just the basics to go in there. That was a big change, putting that beam there. I knew something was off. It didn't look balanced, and now it looks much better. So I hope you enjoyed watching the episode. I'm not the best builder. I'm also not the best at talking while I'm building, but those are skills I would like to work on. So I hope you can bear with me a little bit while I work on that and get better at it. And hopefully it turned out okay. I like it. Hopefully you do too. Leave me some feedback if you like. I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.